Okay, good.
There we go.
So
All right.
we are East Coast Opinions podcast. We have a lot of other social media sites. So if you want to check us out in our link in bio, so you can follow us once we are no longer on here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be back. Hopefully it'll come back. Let's keep our
Yes.
fingers crossed.
So go to the link is in the bio. We have the YouTube page up, we have the Instagram page. Go over and stuff, follow all of those, and then you will not lose us.
Yep.
Because
So we can,
we're hearing Sunday we're going black.
yeah,
So
Black
that gives
Screen.
us we will go live tomorrow, get more people on here, get it out there so that you guys won't you won't lose us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Wait, I can't see without the glasses. Oh, look there, I can see now. Okay. Now I can't see if I go like that. Everything is literally it's blurry. Yeah, no, it's blurry.
Oh, thanks, Jojo. She follows us on IG, and you.
Thanks, Jojo.
Thank you so much.
Yes, because us Americans, Jojo, I don't know where you're from, but us Americans are losing it, unfortunately, on Sunday. That's what we're being told.
Yeah, Black Screen. This is so sad. So many people's lives and livelihoods. God.
So, Vera, if you go to the bio, there's a link tree in there, and it's literally everything you see here, East Coast Opinions podcast. Oh, you're from Australia. Okay, so us Americans, we're gonna lose it. Just go to the link tree. It's in the bio. We have the YouTube page and the Instagram page, and just go and like it. Beans, hi Beans.
Hi, Beans.
Beans, you better not have left,
I
or
think
Beans
she
is gonna
did.
get it.
I think
No,
she
Beans
did.
is here. Yep, so just go up there and follow them, and then you guys will know. Then you won't lose us. You won't lose us on Sunday.
So we
I'm
want to
so
get into it.
sad. Yeah, just go for it.
Um, do you want to talk about how you met your husband to begin with? Because
Sure.
we know you were
So,
in Nigeria to
my
do
husband and
that. So.
I have been married for 19 years. It'll be 20 years this August. I actually met him on a dating site. He found me and I found him in our free trial. He actually contacted me while I was on my 30-day free trial. And I think he had also signed up for his 30-day free trial. And we hit it off and we never renewed our free trial. And
That's awesome.
I met him in the end of December and I was in nursing school. So I told him I didn't want to, because he was here on the East Coast and I was on the West Coast. And I told him I didn't want to meet him in person because I was so close to finishing. I didn't want him to be a distraction. So I said, can we meet in person in the following year, which would have been in January? And he said that was fine. So I met him in the middle of January. We got engaged in March and got married in August. And
Oh,
now
that's
we are
wonderful.
19 years and four kids. And I'm here on the East Coast. It was easier for me to move here because of his job that he had. I was just a nurse, and so I was like, it's just easier for me to come here. So I came here.
Well, that's great. Not just a nurse, because nurses are important.
Yes.
So, tell us about like maybe how what did his family think about it, and was it a big switch? With
So, okay. So in the Nigerian culture, they really want you marrying somebody from the tribe that they're from. So my husband is from the Yoruba tribe, and so his family really wanted him marrying somebody from that tribe. His mom did. So he went back several times to try to find somebody to marry to make his mom happy. I think he went back like two or three times a month each time, and he just didn't find anybody. He's like, Mom, I've tried, I just can't find anybody. And she's like, Yeah, I know. So then when he met me, he told his mom that he met me, and she wanted to know if I was Nigerian. He's like, no, she's American. She's a white woman. And at first, his mom was like, okay, I guess as long as you're happy. And then that's how that came to be. So we got married, and then so he needed to hop on, right? Beans, you're so funny. Um, so um, we got married, and then we had some friends that were always going back and forth to Nigeria, and so we sent her a bunch of wedding pictures. So that is the very first picture that she got of me was wedding pictures.
oh, so they weren't. Nobody came here when you guys get married.
No, his mom has never flown before, and she would never want to leave. We'd have to get her up. So she's like 4 hours from Lagos. She's not even like 4 or 5 hours. And so taking her to the city, applying for her visa passport, then sending her back to get her passport, then applying for her visa, which would be an interview. It's a huge process.
Yeah.
And so it just wasn't worth it. Plus, she's never flown, so somebody would have to fly with her. And she's not one to really want to leave her country. And so she just has never had the desire to leave. So we'll just leave her there.
Okay. So
And my
then,
mother-in-law does not speak English, by the way, and I don't speak her language. So people that always say they don't get along with their mother-in-law, well, I get along with my mother-in-law. We just don't, we have to have an interpreter.
right.
I do. I really do get along with her great.
How long were you married before you went over there and met her?
Um, we hold on. Think I want to say like 12 years. And the reason for that was because so I think I went in 2017 and we got married in 2005, 10, right? Something like
Hmm.
that. More than that. We waited that long because my kids were little and we didn't know how much they were gonna she does not cuss me out. She actually really likes me. It's the other one that she's not so sure about.
Jeez, you're so
That's
bad.
that part's not a lie. So where was I? So the reason why we waited so long is because my kids are every 2 years apart. And so I wanted to make sure that they were old enough that if we went there, one, they were going to remember it because I didn't know if it was going to be a one and done where we're going to only go there one time and they didn't like it and we weren't going to go back again.
Hmm.
Or so I wanted to make sure that they were old enough. Plus, it's not cheap for anybody who doesn't know what it's like flying a family of six from the East Coast to Africa. It is not a cheap flight and it's a very long flight. If you have layovers, it can be 16, 18, 20 something hours. It's a very long, very, very long. So thank you, Donna. I mean, Vera, she's requested an IG request to follow you.
Oh,
Um,
good. Thank
we
you.
will we will check anything that we have to approve, which they should be open if you're trying to do our personal pages. We will take care of that afterwards. So it's a long flight. So I just wanted to make sure that the kids were comfortable and they were going to like it. So that's just why. And then plus, I was going to have to get them shots or had to get them medicine. So like they had to get the yellow fever vaccine, and I wanted to make sure they were old enough before I was giving them that, and then they were going to have to take the malaria pills. So we really wanted to make sure that they were old enough,
Hmm.
one, that they were going to like it, two, traveling with little kids on an airplane for that period, long time, was another factor that we put into. And it's like I said, it's not cheap to fly, and then you have to stay there. It's find a place to stay. It's very, very expensive.
So tell us, what was it like once you got there and um, obviously it was your first time and your kid's first time. So,
Mhm.
tell us the day in and the day outs and like what it was like there for you as a
So
first timer.
we prep them by watching a lot of videos, YouTube videos online. We prep them there and we explain to them that just because what you see on your YouTube is not what's it might be worse in certain places and it could be nicer in certain places. We explained that to them very, very well. So when we first got there, we went through immigration. Immigration was like smooth as can be. Like they were like, we were literally the only ones going through the international immigration. Everybody else went through because they were all natural citizens. Um, so we had to go through that, and it was very, very simple. We were the only ones there. Everybody was like, "Hey, how are you? First time here." They wanted to know. They're excited. Um, they literally walked us through. They helped us get our luggage, and then we traveled with some friends. So my husband has a childhood friend and his wife. They live in the United States here, so we traveled with them because that's what I wanted. I wanted to travel with them because my husband hadn't been back in so long that I was like, no, I want them to go with us because they literally go every single year. And so so we went with them. And so they helped us get through. So once we got through immigration, we got our luggage, we got to the airport. The hotel that we were staying at in my husband's village is owned by somebody in the military. And so he had some of his, because he was pretty high up in the military. I'm not sure if he's still in it or not, but he had some of his guys pick us up and they basically escorted us from the airport to well, we didn't because we landed at night, so we went to a place called Victoria Island, which is in Lagos, and we stayed the night there in a really nice hotel. And then the next morning we got up and then we made the trip to my husband's village, where we stayed in another hotel, which was owned by this guy. It's heavily guarded, very secure, which a lot of the places are, but this one is even more, just because I think it's because of the fact that he owned it and he was in the military. And they made us feel very welcome instantly. My kids became friends with the guards at the gatehouse. So because they are what, 5 hours ahead of us, I didn't put my kids on the times. I just didn't do it. I was like, there was just no point. So my kids would be up until like 11 o'clock at night. They'd be down at the gatehouse playing with the guys by themselves. I didn't really care because I trusted them because they were also our security at the same time.
Yeah.
And so my kids just befriended them. And so then I would go get them at a certain time, like, okay, they got to go to bed. See you in the morning. And then they would just repeat the process. So my kids were very safe, and what they call it a compound. They were very safe. They could play, they go down, eat breakfast, they'd go to the gatehouse and play, they'd go to the playground and they would play. Um, and they didn't have to have anybody with them because nobody was going to bother them. Or sometimes one of the guys would just want to go follow them, hang out with them because they thought they were pretty funny. So I was like, okay, whatever. So no, we were pretty left alone at the hotel. They made it a rule that nobody could take pictures of us or my children or me, whether you were a guest or an employee. They also made it that if you did not have a reservation at the hotel, you could not enter the hotel itself. Like they'd have a restaurant in there, but on the other side of the property, there's like a pool, a bar, a pub, a little outdoor seating area. So basically they'd have to stay there because what was happening was is that they found out that we were there and they were wanting to come in and find us and take pictures. And the reason why is because my husband's village is so far from the main cities that a lot of the people that live there have never seen anybody of different ethnicity except for maybe on TV. And so when they found out there was a white person there, or as they call it in vivo, that's what I am. They would want to, no, I'm serious, they would want to come and try to find me and take a picture with me or greet me or say hi or whatever, which I don't have a problem with it, but just to keep the peace and so that my kids could walk around the hotel and not be bothered, they just implemented that rule. And so it was never, we never had an issue when we leave. We usually were going to his one of his brother's houses. He has 13 siblings. My husband's dad had three wives, and so those three wives all had a bunch of kids. And then all those kids got married, and a lot of the brothers have multiple wives, which means there are multiple children, grandchildren. So I think, okay, Beans. So I think the last time I counted, my kids had 46 first cousins.
Wow.
I would
Maybe
have
you
to
should
ask my
go ahead.
sister-in-law for that. I'd have to ask my sister-in-law for that exact number. That would take a while, but we can figure it out. It would just take us a hot minute.
Maybe you should explain like about his culture and his religion. Like, so why did his dad
So
have
yeah,
three?
so my husband obviously was born into a Muslim family. And in the one thing in Nigeria that I noticed, like the area that we were at, like they don't care. Like you can sit there and say, "What religion are you?" Oh, Muslim. Oh, Christian. And it's honestly, it's not a big deal. So you can be driving the road. There's a mosque, a church, a mosque, a church. It's like they're there and nobody cares. Like
Hmm.
nobody cares. So he was born into a Muslim family. And then when he was younger, he got sent to a Christian school. And then in that Christian school, there was a church next to it. So he used to sneak into the church in the back of the church, and he'd watch the little services, and then he'd have to run away. Go, not run away, but he'd have to leave before it finished, so he wouldn't get caught and get yelled at if they found out he's there because they'd go tell his parents. Um, and then when he was in university, like he was like 20, 21, a missionary came to his village and then he became a Christian. So he converted from being a Muslim to a Christian. That did not go over very well at all, as for anybody who knows that culture and that whole area did not go over very well. They actually disowned him for a while. They were very angry with him. His dad was very fuming and made the rule that nobody in the family could talk to him. So
Wow.
nobody talked to him for a while. And then after a while, it wasn't very long, only like a few months, his dad was like, nope, he's my son. I have to love him no matter what. We have to accept him. So he reversed that process and told everybody that they needed to accept him and love him no matter what. So they still love him to this very day.
And
So
everybody
that is,
listens to the dad, huh?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Is
everybody
that like
does.
the power the dads have in the family? Like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the moms, I think. Like I have a few sister-in-laws who I think are a little bit more hard-headed and kind of rule the roost when it comes to the children. The dads just say okay.
Hmm.
And that's I think also a part of it there, but also the dads get the final say. So they get the final say,
So then
100%.
what is it like when you go there? Do you guys have to like dress a certain way because of the religion or because of the culture?
No, no. Basically what I do with my girls, I mean, my girls are older now, but when they were that age, I basically had them wear jeans that kind of maybe went down to the middle of their thigh. They were okay wearing tank tops as long as it was higher up. Um, because it's obviously hot there. We just made sure that we were respectful going into whether one of his sister's house, brother's house, grandma's house, whatever. I just made sure that they were dressed respectfully. I just wore um, maybe I was wearing jeans, shorts or capris, or I wore a t-shirt. I didn't wear tank top. I wore tank tops at the hotel, but other than that, I just wear a short sleeve shirt, and just was very respectful, just because it's not my house. And and obviously everybody knew that who we were there to see, so I didn't want to upset anybody in the village. Like, oh my gosh, your daughter-in-law or your sister-in-law, your husband's what, your brother's wife or their kids. So I made sure that we were dressed and we were very respectfully so that we didn't make anybody mad.
And what was your kids' first impression going there? I mean, I know that your girls were, a little older and the boys were a little younger. So,
Um, It was better than what we thought, because we had really prepped them for what they were about to see. So they weren't so shocked. But I think the first day, because we were so exhausted, they were kind of like sleeping a little bit in the car and then they would see things. And so um, it humbled them. I mean, my kids were very respectful as it was, and still are, but I think it definitely changed them because they saw like what they had compared to what their cousins had or what people didn't have. And they saw, kids selling food on the side of the road,
yeah.
trying to help bring in income for their family, or they saw them working really hard or carrying their food or their laundry on their heads. It definitely changed their views on life. Um, and now that, and even now that they're older, they're still, they still remember that what they saw. They're like, oh yeah, my cousins have to walk far for this, or they have to walk far for that, or they have to go do this. And so it definitely changed their views in life. I always say that I wish that kids here in the United States before they graduate high school could travel to a third world country,
Yeah.
as a requirement, just and go there for a summer and do some volunteer work so they could see what it's like, so
Yeah.
they can see how well they have it, so that they could see. We've been there twice. The second time that we went there, my girls emptied their closets with my permission. They emptied their closets of all the clothes and asked if they could take all the clothes back to Nigeria to give to their cousins. And
Oh,
I said, I'm like, are you doing this because you want to get new clothes? Or are you doing this because you really want to help? And they said, no, we really want to help. And I was like, okay. I was like, then I'm fine with that. You emptying your closets if that's what you're doing. If I'm like, if you're doing it because you think you're getting new clothes, we're not going down that road. And they're like, no, 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 we really want to. We really want to give it to them. So we took all their clothes and we put them in the vacuum suction things, you suck it down like that.
mhm.
We took 2 suitcases full of clothes,
Wow.
of all their clothes, and we just took it all and we gave it all to their cousins. They had three girl cousins, and we gave all their clothes to them, and they
So
were
now,
extremely grateful.
um, because the family is so large and there's so
Mhm.
many, what type of things do they do for work? Like what, can you, to
Um,
get too
so
intrusive,
a lot of
but
them
if
are
you,
business owners. Some
okay.
of them have poultry farms, fish farms. Two of them have a cocoa farm. Some of them have little stores where they sell food or they sell candies or sweets.
Hmm.
One of them is an accountant. One of them works at a law firm. One owns their own private school. The other one works at a clinic.
Nice.
So they have different, yeah, they have
Mhm.
different things. Yeah.
And I know you mentioned, I can't remember if it was right at the very beginning, that your mother-in-law doesn't speak English.
Mhm.
What is their native language there, and how did you guys communicate?
So each tribe has their own language. So my husband's from the Yoruba tribe, so he speaks Yoruba. My nephew's wife, she is Igbo, so she speaks the Igbo language, which is a completely different language. So each tribe, so I don't know honestly how many hold on, he's gonna get you need to bend down because you're gonna get a shut off because you're a minor. Please go away. Sorry. um, so each tribe has their own language. So I don't know. I would have to ask him how many tribes there are to give you an exact answer of how many different languages are in that country. It's a lot. I do know that much.
And do a lot of them learn English, like in school, or
Yes.
pick it up,
Yes.
or
So basically, English is the first language. The older people, like my mother-in-law, don't speak it.
right?
It's just because they were never taught it. But in schools, they are taught. They are taught the English. So they have the option of either going to a private school or to a public school. All of my nieces and nephews all went to private schools.
And it costs money to go to private school.
It does. Yes. It's obviously a lot cheaper. Like I think it was. I don't even remember. I think it was like $100 a year for one of my nieces to 100 US dollars to send one of my nieces to school,
Oh,
if
wow.
that tells you.
Hmm.
Yeah. And they were going to get an education. But this again is also in a village. I think if you're in the big cities like Lagos or Abuja or Ibadan, definitely going to cost a lot more. And the Lagos, they're like American prices, so they're very expensive there. Extremely.
And all right. Speaking of money, like
Mhm.
what? Where do they get a lot of their things? Like your mother-in-law lives in a village, so she buys
Mhm.
her things locally. What if she needs things that are not accessible to her? Like what does she do?
They usually will find somebody to import it, bring it in from the city. She has a son. I have a brother-in-law that's there that he always can have it. He never leaves the city because he's constantly working, but they do have they do have family that could go get it if it was needed. But usually it's imported. Everybody's gonna find it and bring it in. So, and she's honestly not that picky. So she'll live with what she has. She's doesn't have much to begin with and doesn't want much. We've offered and she's always like, no, 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 I'm good, thank you.
And how far is the like main city from where she lives? Is that like a 4 hour?
About that, yeah, 4 hours, yeah,
Um,
depending on traffic.
so let's switch gears a little bit, and why don't we talk about the food? Like, what did you guys eat? What is your favorite thing to eat? Is there something that she made that you liked, or maybe something at a restaurant that you liked?
So my kids were born and raised eating Nigerian food. So they will eat anything that you put on their plate if it has to do. They like jollof rice, they like meat pies, they like akara, which is like beans. So say you take not white, black eyed, black eyed beans and you soak them in water. And then once in a while you'd come until you get all the skin off. And then from the skin, you're adding peppers, bouillon cubes, onions, bell peppers, spicy stuff. I'm sure I'm forgetting something at this point. I do know how to make it.
Hmm.
Basically, you blend it all up and then you make it into a patty and then you dump it in oil and you fry it up.
And
They love it. It's spicy, very, very spicy.
what
They
is
like
that called?
peppers. It's called okra.
Okra. Okay.
Hmm. They like to eat okra. They like to eat pepper stew. They like to eat goat meat. They eat panadium. Think of like taking cream of wheat in the same texture.
Hmm.
Um, they eat puff puffs, which is a snack. Um, but pretty much we'll eat whatever you give them. If we go up to New Jersey, where our friends live, they put food in front of them and they just eat it. They love it. Um, so when we're there, so the favorite thing that they liked is you order pizza. The hotel that we would go to, we always would order a pizza. I can order a pizza, you can order a pizza, my kids can order pizza, nobody's getting the same pizza.
Okay. You
You
mean
don't know
because
what
of
you're
the
getting. You're just
toppings,
ordering
or
pizza.
just what you're getting?
You're just getting what you're getting. It's basically whatever's in the kitchen.
Oh,
And it's obviously crust. The sauce is good and just whatever on there. So you never get the same pizza twice. And it is so delicious. Like
that's
I wish
neat.
I could bring it home, but obviously I can't. I wish I could make it, and I can't because it's literally whatever's in the kitchen. It's so good. Um, we taught the hotel how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I love that.
They didn't understand that. We found bread called Captain Cook bread, which I wish they could make. If anybody in here that is Nigerian, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's so good. Anyways, so we found some peanut when we were in Lagos, we found some peanut butter and we found some jelly and we found the bread and we brought their bread back to the hotel and we were like making it and the kids went, they were outside eating it and the guards were like, "What's that? What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." They're like, "A what?" And I'm like, "Ugh, I'll make you one." So I made them some and they're just like, "Okay, this is like really good."
I guess no
It's
crustables
just
for them.
no crust. Oh no, everything there is so organic because it's literally
Sure.
from the ground. So every time I go there, I literally lose like 10 to 15 pounds in like a 2 week period because everything you're eating is so organic.
Yeah.
It's the best. It is us. My kids will not eat chicken from the store anymore. You can actually taste the difference. So I have to go to a farm and I have to buy the chicken from the farm, like fresh chicken from the farm,
Mhm.
because they can taste the difference. They could literally, you can, it's not a lie. You can actually taste the difference. So they won't eat it from the store anymore because I think it tastes gross.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They won't do
Did
it.
you have like do you have a favorite thing that you cook for your family at home that you've like, oh, I've mastered this. It's, this is the
Probably the meat pies. They love meat pies. I actually have to make them tomorrow. They requested them tonight. I was like, I am not doing them tonight. I will do them tomorrow because it's a process. It's a few hour. It's a like 2 hour process. So I mastered the crust. That crust took me probably 4 or 5 tries to get it down. And it was literally every time I'd make it, that my family would come and tell me, okay, it's good, but it needs this or it needs this. And that's literally how I mastered it was by them telling me what I needed to do. And now I've got it mastered. And
now when
it's
you
very, very well. Everybody who always requests it, and we had a family come that's from Nigeria. They visited us one year for Thanksgiving. We had another family from Cameroon, and the grandmother liked it. She's like, okay, this is good. Everybody always like, they want my meat pies. Always want my meat pies. I'm like, okay. Like I had a little girl at church on Sundays, like, when are you, Miss Nikki, when are you gonna make meat pies again? I'm like, oh gosh.
Aw.
Like, okay, I'll make you a meat pie.
What is there any recipes that your mother-in-law gave you that,
No, they don't have recipes. It's literally, she doesn't cook anymore. She lives with my brother-in-law, so his wife cooks for her. But
Sure.
no, his wife helped me. I helped her one time in the kitchen cook. Just because there was a lot of people over at the house. I was like, yeah, there's too many people. I'm out. Like, I love my family, but
Yeah.
for
A
the
lot of
ones who don't know,
noise.
the tribe that he's from is very loud. It's like one of the loudest in Nigeria, and I can literally plug my ears like this, and I can still hear them talking.
I'm sure.
And they're not yelling, y'all. They're not mad at each other. They're just talking very loudly. Like
Hmm.
loudly. Like they outdo the Italians. That's how loud they are.
That's hard to
This-
do, so must be loud.
Oh, it's very loud. I'm like, dude, you're like 5 feet in front of them. You don't have to yell. So anyway,
Yeah.
so I basically just got up one day and I just went in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm here to help you. She's like, no, no, no. I'm like, no, really trust me. I need a break. She's like, okay. Like two people
Too much.
too much.
So, we'll switch gears again
Hmm.
and let's talk about like the safety and how you guys were taken care of when you were out there to make sure that everybody was safe and you didn't go into a bad area by mistake or
Right. So we always had a driver with us and we always had security with us everywhere we went. Just because for whatever reason, I don't know why, but and I can't say this for everybody, so don't come at me for this. But in the parts that we were at, they assume that if you're American or if you're a white person, you're automatically very rich. And so therefore people would want to come up to me because they thought I was rich or I had money, or which I don't. Most of the time, it was because they just want to greet you, they want to say hi, but they can be a little aggressive.
Mhm.
And because we had our kids, the security was like, no. Sometimes, I don't mind. I never did anything I wasn't supposed to do. So I would ask, can I say hi to them? And they would say yes, or they would say no. Somebody was always with me. Usually it was the little kids. Honestly, the little kids thought I was really funny. So I didn't mind shaking little kids' hands or saying hi to them. Sometimes the adults would come over with their babies and hand it to me like I was Mother Teresa and I was gonna, could bless their
Aw.
baby or something like that. I'm like, I'll hold the baby, I'll snuggle with the baby, but I not can't bless the baby. I'm sorry. Um, that is literally not a joke. Like I could bring my kids in here right now, but they're not allowed on here. But they would tell you that yeah, it's but no, for safety, we always just made sure we could go if we were allowed to go there or if we weren't allowed to go there. I think the coolest place that we ever went to was the hot and cold springs. And it's literally like
Mhm.
the hot water comes down here, the cold water comes down here. They come together and they meet, but they never cross. It's like there's
Oh,
an
wow.
imaginary wall. There's like an imaginary wall in between. So it's like the coolest thing ever. It's hot and cold springs. So you can literally stand cold and hot and they never mix. It's I don't know how to explain it, but it's literally true. I have pictures of us standing in the hot and cold springs.
And that's a natural thing? That's
Yeah, it's
not
a natural thing. Yeah,
man-made?
yeah. If you walk up the hill, you can actually see. I'll have to try. I have pictures that are on my phone. I should have. I'll find them later for y'all, and I'll when we turn this into a YouTube video, I will insert the videos, the pictures. But you can actually see the steam where it says
Hmm.
hot, and then the cold water is just a notch river, and then it just trickles down, and then they just come together.
That's neat. I like
Yep.
that. So, speaking of that, then you were there for quite a few weeks and, I guess you could only visit so much family. Like, what did you guys do?
If we got overwhelmed or if we just needed a break, we would just stay at the hotel. We would just chill. There were times that I just was like, I can't, I need a break. I just got to stay home today. And he'd be like, okay, just stay there. And and I sometimes we just stay in the hotel and just chill. Sometimes the kids would go down to the lobby. They would hang out with people at the reception, go to the gatehouse. They'd go swimming because the hotel had a pool or there was a playground. The kids brought sidewalk chalk, so a lot of the people that worked at the hotel thought that was the coolest thing ever. So yes, there were a bunch of adults, 40 to 50-year-olds playing with sidewalk chalk, but that's
Mhm.
okay. We had explained to them that it does wash off if it rains, which every afternoon you had the rainfall, so it was just going to wash off anyways. But no, we found things to do, hang out at the hotel. Um, I introduced them to s'mores. They did not know what s'mores are. Now they're all
Oh,
addicted to s'mores.
delicious.
Yes, you cannot go wrong with s'mores. No, honestly, we would just chill. We would watch movies. Sometimes, my husband's brother's two daughters, they would just come over because they lived right around the corner. They literally would just come over and they would just hang out at the hotel. They're not really out of control. They're very calm kids, and so they would just come and lay on the bed, watch a movie. Or my kids had brought a bunch of games, like board games and card games and things that we packed in suitcases. They would sit in one of the other rooms because we had three connecting rooms, and they'd sit in one of the rooms and they would play games for hours, whatever they wanted to do, color, this, that, hours.
That's nice.
So, mhm.
And so now, tell me, what your kids think about maybe going back there to either visit or.
um, they would want to go back to visit. They have no desire to move there. If it came down to it and we had to move back there for whatever reason, they would be okay. We would have to live in the city. We couldn't live in the village that my mother-in-law lives in. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just for work reasons, we would have to, for internet access and things like that, and for my kids to be able to go to school, we would have to live in the city. Um, and plus, it would be easier for me. Like, I can't walk around by myself, but I could freely walk with somebody. And, you go to the shops or the stores, get my kids to school, go to the markets or whatever. So we would have to, we would have to live in the city for that,
And you
just so
could
that we
walk
could
by
function.
yourself in the city.
No, I can't walk by
Oh,
myself in the
you
city.
can't.
Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope. Absolutely not. My own nieces who are adults, and my sister-in-laws, they don't walk by themselves. They just
Okay.
don't do it. I mean, they can, but they don't. For me, no, I don't. And I mean, yeah, I walked, like, we were in a restaurant in the mall, and I went from the mall, walked around the corner to the bathroom, and I was good to go. But no, you don't want to just walk by yourself. And I'm not saying it's dangerous. It's not dangerous for anybody who wants to. It's not just, it's just what, they, like, my guards said, and I respect them. If they say no, I'm gonna listen to them and do exactly what they say. I will never do anything that they tell me not to do.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. when you're in the city part and like you
Mhm.
just mentioned, like you were like in a mall or whatever, is there like fast food restaurants, like anything that we have here?
Okay, so this is the fun part that we love it. Like you'll be driving down the road and like, oh yeah, this is fast food. So you're thinking like Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, right? No, we're talking fast food, their version of it's a full-blown course meal. You have your rice, you have your meat, you have your stew, all the food that I was talking about earlier. That's to them is considered fast food. It's the funniest thing. Yes, they do have like American restaurants there. You see, like I saw, it's been a while. What did I see? They had like a few ice cream places that I saw. I think they had I want to say they had KFC or it was something similar to KFC in the in the mall. What is it? What is that ice cream place called? We don't have it here where I'm
Oh, Stone Cold?
yes, thank you. You knew because I was going like this. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Stone Cold. Yep. We know each other, right? Like that, you know. Yeah, they have Stone Cold. Yep. I saw that there.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
know, I was shocked. Yeah, my kids had some Stone Cold before we left to go on an airplane for 16 hours. My kids had Stone Cold.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 10 hours. I don't remember. I was like, really? Really? That would be courtesy of the hotel owner's son who decided to bless my children with that.
Thanks.
I was so mad at him for that. Loved
Yeah.
him.
What what kind of like I know you guys where you live now, you have chickens and
Mhm.
what kind of animals are, popular around there and is it
So,
anything different? Same as us?
I can't say everybody, but a lot of people seem to think that when you mention Africa, they think all of Africa has the monkeys, the apes, the giraffes, the elephants, all of that in every part of Africa. It's not true. Uh, so the the parts that I was in, they had goats, chickens, and cows.
Okay. And that's it.
Literally, and they just walk the streets. They just
Oh.
walk the streets. The cows, they have herds. They get herded. The goats, I decided the goats they leave in the morning and then they leave and they go down the street to go hang out with their friends in the afternoon. In the evening time, they go home. They do. They literally walk, and then in the evening time, you see them walking back. It's the funniest thing ever. Yeah, and their traffic jam in my mother-in-law's village consists of goats and cows.
Of
Not
course.
even kidding you. Goats and cows.
Now, your mother-in-law lives with one of your husband's brothers, right?
Yes, he only has one brother. So
And
it's well, he had a so he has twin brothers. One of them died as a baby, and the other one, for whatever reasons, unbeknownst to us, he just left and no one's has seen him since. So
oh, okay.
she lives with his younger brother and his wife.
And do they have animals like where they live, like on
So he has a
on
poultry
the
farm. He has two poultry farms and a
yeah.
couple fish farms. So when I go there and I say I need a chicken, he just goes out the back door and brings me a chicken.
Oh, poor
And
Bessie. Oh, okay.
yes, yes, and he brings me a chicken, all good to go.
And this might be a question you might not be able to answer, but like where does he get his fish from? Like what's their port? They have a port?
They have catfish.
Oh,
So
they
I'm
do.
assuming the catfish just breed, and so they just have, and again, I will insert these pictures when we make the YouTube video. They just have huge ponds, and then they put like a green layer of like moss over it type thing to prevent anything from the top seeing them. But then they also have like they have like strings that go across. Some of them have netting, some of them don't. Some of them just stick with the green thick moss, and so that you can't see what's swimming underneath it. So the birds in the sky can't go down and pick it up.
So that's how they breed. That's how they breed their fish, so to say.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
assuming
not sure
so.
if you knew that or not.
The chickens all come from a factory somewhere, so they get them as babies and then they just raise them.
Oh, okay.
They just raise, yeah, they get the babies in and then they just raise them until they get to a certain age and they use them for eggs and they use them for eating.
Now, one thing we didn't talk about was like, tell me, I'm assuming you went in the summertime, but what's the weather like year round?
Well, okay, so they have a dry season and then they have their wet season. We only go in August because that's the best time that works for us and my kids in school. So we always go in August for them. It's hot, but it's a dry hot. Um, And then usually in the afternoon, you could see the clouds come, so you know it's going to start raining. And then you can either hang out in the rain because it feels good, or you can go hide. And it doesn't last very long. It comes in, sometimes it comes down torrential downpours. Sometimes it just comes down, however. Most of the times my kids just hung out in the rain. There's like, it feels good. I'm like, okay, well, that
Kind of
works.
like Florida type of thing, a big shower in the
Yeah,
middle of the day.
kind of like Florida type thing. Yeah.
And
Um,
no humidity, a lot of humidity, not really.
there's definitely humidity. Yeah. There's definitely humidity. They all have a lot of homes have, well, not a lot. They have fans. Some have air conditionings. A lot of them have generators. Some of them don't have generators because their power is not always um the best. So sometimes you think you might have power and then the power goes out and you don't know when it's coming back on. So they have generators in case they lose power every day. Sometimes they lose power multiple times a day.
Oh,
You never know.
and
It's like winning the lottery.
the hotel had air conditioning, the one
The
that you stayed
hotel has
at?
air conditioning in the rooms. Each room has air conditioning. They have I don't know what they're called. They're like the things that go up in the split something. Yeah, they're like up in the wall.
The ones that go on
Each,
the top of the wall.
yep,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
walls. Yep. And then they had massive generators. So if they lost power, generators would kick on and then the power would come back on. So no,
Um,
every room, even the dining halls and the lobby all had air conditioning. So they only would turn them on when it was needed.
and then what's the weather like the rest of the year? Like, what is it like now? Like for us, we have winter, obviously. Do they
It was
have
warm.
winter?
When I looked earlier, it was like, well, earlier today, I think they were in the 80s today.
Okay,
So
so it's always hot. They don't.
it's always warm, always warm. I mean, for them, it gets cold at some points. It does get cold for them. For you and I, it'd be like, oh, this is kind of nice. But for them, they're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like the Floridians.
hmm it's cold. Yeah, like your
Exactly.
sister when she froze when she came up here.
Yep. Exactly.
hmm
Exactly.
She's like, no, thanks, I'm out. She's like, first plane out of here, I'm gone. No, I mean, I've only been there in August, but I have a niece that's here right now. She's in New Jersey, and we introduced her to snow for the first time, and she said it was scary and beautiful all at the same time.
Oh,
She's like, oh, scary, oh, beautiful. Literally, I have a video of it. It's the funniest thing ever. She said it was scary and beautiful all at the same time, and then we took her sledding.
oh, I'm sure she
We
loved
took her
that.
sledding. She loved it, and then she wanted to go again. And then she's like, "I'm cold." I'm like, "Well, yeah, girl, you're not wearing snow clothes. We got to get you back inside. Come on now." You
You
don't have
gotta
snow
dress.
pants on. You don't have snowshoes on. Go.
You gotta dress right.
And then she came with a coat that you and I would wear in the fall. I'm
Uh,
like, "Mm." I'm
that's
like,
not gonna fit.
honey, I'm taking her to the store. We're going to Kohl's. He's like, why? And I'm like, this is her winter coat. And he went, what? Like, yeah, we're going to the
Well,
store.
she's going to need it next week. That's for sure. The
Yeah,
weather.
right. Well, she's got like several now. I think she's got two or three. When I saw
Yeah.
her last time, she had brought two. I'm like, why did you bring two? She's like, oh, I'm like, no, I don't know, but okay.
I mean, it's gonna be like
Yeah. Yeah.
teens next week. She's definitely gonna need it.
Yeah.
Um, how does she like going to school here? I mean, I don't know if you can speak for her, but has she said,
She likes it here. She says the people here are very, very nice. Well, that's the first thing she said when she landed. She got picked up by our family friends that live up in New Jersey. They picked her up, and then I was able to talk to her because we were texting her. She was on WhatsApp, and so I was making sure like she was on. It was her very first plane ride when she was leaving Nigeria, and she's like, "We haven't left yet. Oh my gosh, is everything?" I'm like, "That's fine. That's normal. Planes are delayed. You're going to be just fine. I promise you." And then she took the longest flight ever. It took her 27 hours to get from here to there. But we're not even going to discuss that.
oh,
Um, yeah,
okay,
that's the plane that she chose. Anywho,
wow,
no, she said the first thing she did when she landed is how nice people were. The school took a little adjustment, but now she loves it. She's made a lot of nice friends. I think she's got this year and next year. I think this is her last year. Yeah, she
okay.
graduates in 2026,
And what is she going
and
to
then
school for?
she's going to get her PhD in chemistry.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Now,
Yes,
will she
ma'am.
stay here? Will she go home? Maybe
She
she
would
doesn't
like
know.
to stay here. That is obviously dependent on whether or not she gets a job or not. They would have to be willing to sponsor her because she's not a citizen.
Right.
Right now, she's only here
The
on a
work
student
visa.
visa. So she's only here on a student visa. So she would like to stay here. Um, so it really just depends on what she's
Yeah.
able to do. She knows what she has to do. She does know that much. It's just dependent on getting a job.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and she loves
Um,
it. When she needs her break, she comes down. I plop her on a train and she comes down and hangs out with me. Sometimes it's like last minute notice. Auntie, I need to come. Okay, gotcha.
let's
Get
go.
to the train station. No,
So,
she knows.
I guess one more question is
Mhm.
about your husband's family. You had mentioned like his dad. Um, is he still around?
No, I never met my father-in-law. He died, I think, a couple years after my husband came to this country. So I think my husband's been here almost 25 years. And so he died shortly after he came here. He smoked a lot, so I'm assuming it probably had something to do with that. Um, my mother-in-law is the last remaining wife that he has. He had three wives, and so she's the last remaining living one. Um, no, no, I never got to meet him. I do have pictures of him. Definitely looks like my husband. The genes are very strong. That man had some very strong genes because he had all those kids, what, 12 or 13 kids, and they all look identical, and there's three different moms. And then you add all of the grandchildren and all the grandchildren, yeah, they all look identical. It's crazy. But no, we all get along just great. They all love me. They accepted me. They think I am the funny sister-in-law. I am the
Well,
funny auntie
what's not to love?
because a lot of this, my sister-in-laws have to refer to their husband. They have to be very submissive. That's them. Not everybody is that way. I'm making that very well clear. Not everybody is that way over there. Just for whatever reason, that is how they roll. Not
Right.
all of my sister-in-laws are that way. Some of them are like, not happening. Um, but a lot of them have to refer to their husbands as sir. They have to do as what they're told to do. They have to get permission before they do something.
Okay.
And I'm just the sister-in-law that's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. No. I'm obviously very respectful, but they were like, call your husband sir. I'm like, no, I'm not calling him sir. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. And my husband's like, she's not calling me sir. Uh, to make him mad, sometimes I'll do it because I think it's kind of funny. Be like, okay, sir. He's like, shut up, don't call me sir. I'm like, okay, sir. He's like, stop it. Um, no. My brother-in-laws, they like me because one of my brother-in-laws told me a story one time about how he got a second wife, and he said, "Don't you think it's funny?" And I was like, "No, it's not funny at all. Actually, I think it was really rude and disrespectful what you did and how you did it. And it's not my story to tell, but it was very rude and very disrespectful to both wives. And I made it very clear to him that I did not think his story was funny at all in any way, shape, or form. And I said it in front of
He
everybody.
thought
And
you were going to be like, oh, well, you're the best. Yeah.
yeah, and I literally said it in front of everybody. Mic drop is what happened. And he started laughing. He's like, I love your wife. And my husband was like, thank you. And his first wife came over to me and she's like, I knew I was gonna like you. I'm like, yeah. I was I was I was very honest. And I'm very respectful. I'm not disrespectful over there, but when he wanted my honest opinion and I gave him my honest opinion, and his daughter, who is here in the United States going to school, she thought it was funny. She's like, I knew I was gonna like you. And so yeah, so they like me just because I am the sister-in-law that's the American, not just because I'm the American sister-in-law or I'm the white one and I'm famous when I go into the village. Like everybody knows like when I'm there. Like they know when I show up. And so obviously like all the friends want to come and sing, hang out or whatever, but I'm very respectful, but he wanted my honest opinion and I gave it to him. And now he to this day he still likes me. He thinks I'm funny.
Well, you know what? He respected the fact that you were able to speak your mind.
Yes, his first wife, she speaks her mind, let me tell you. I think she does. She doesn't hold back. She's just like, no, she's like, absolutely not. She's like, nope. Mm-mm. So
I mean, I
no.
don't know if you know the dynamic, but like, how does it work with him having two wives?
He has three wives actually now.
You know, two
They're only
nights,
allowed to have four, so he can get one more if he wants to. He's only allowed to have four. Right now he has three.
2 nights in one place, 2 nights in another place. Like,
I don't know, I'm not even gonna
I
ask
didn't know
that.
if you know the
All I
logistics.
know is that all I know, I haven't met the third wife because she came into the picture, I think, last year. So I haven't met her. But the house that I've seen, When you drive into his compound, the main floor belongs to the second wife and her, their four kids. And then you go up the stairs on the outside of the stairs, and the that second floor belongs to the first wife and her
Oh,
four
so they're
kids. But
literally in the same place. Okay.
yeah. They're in the same place. He built the house that way. Oh, here's one for you. They don't take loans out. They don't believe in credit cards or loans. So they build their house as they have money.
Okay.
So sometimes these buildings and homes and whatever you see take years to build because as they have money, they build.
And
Yeah.
what are the houses like? Like are they,
They're
you
made
know,
out of the structure is the outside structure is like cinder blocks.
okay.
And then they just, put them together and then it really just depends on how much money you have and where you live. You could live in a dilapidated house or you could live in a mansion. And again,
Hmm.
I have all these pictures and I'm sorry I didn't have them ready, but I will make sure that they're put in the YouTube video when we do it. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
a lot of the
Good visual.
homes are dilapidated. They're not good, but they're their homes, right? So you don't ever want
Yeah,
to go "Ooh," like that. You don't ever want to do that because it's their home, right?
that's
That's
where
what
they
they
live.
can afford. And they might know it's not the best home, but it's the house. That's what the husband can afford to put his children and his wife in, right? And so you always want to make sure that you're respectful. They have tin roofs, some of them are rusted, some of them are leaking, some of them are falling apart, some of them are mud huts, some of them are mansions. We have, this is what makes me mad. We have some friends that live there and they built a massive house. And of course, two houses down is a house that we would consider dilapidated, but it's somebody's home. I would never do that. And I always told my husband that if we ever live there, we have to live in the city because I could not build a house like that next to somebody else that has a house that looks like that.
Nothing.
Like that is not, I don't like it at all. I think it's the most arrogant thing that you could possibly do to show off your money knowing that your neighbor has nothing and
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. So I mean we would have to have, I wouldn't want houses like that because they're like massive. I'm not, they're like 6,000 7,000 square foot houses. My house is 2,000 square feet and I think it's already too big for me. But no, we would have to obviously live in the city where it's a little bit safer and we could have a house and this and that, the kids could have their own rooms and internet and and things like that. But no, I don't like it at all. I don't. I think it's terrible. They know how I feel about it because they ask me, and I'm the person that's very honest. If you're going to ask me something like, especially with my family over there, if you're going to ask me a question, depending on who you are, depends on how I answer the question.
Yeah.
Honestly, it It depends on who it is. If it's my mother-in-law, I might sugarcoat it a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm going to sugarcoat it. If it's one of the cousins, my nieces or nephews, I'm just going to flat out say it because, they're pretty much Americanized. So I'll just flat out tell them how it is. And one of my nephews, he knows when I'm lying. He's like, dude, just tell me the truth. I know you're lying. I'm like, fine, whatever, you know. But no, I like it. We like it there. Definitely would go back to visit, not to move. My husband does eventually want to move back to Africa. We wouldn't go to Nigeria, not because for any reason. He just doesn't want to go back there, which is fine. Like I grew up on the West Coast and I have no desire to go back into to the state that I grew up in, right? I have no desire. I'll go back and visit. I just don't have that desire to go live there. And it's the same with him. But
Right.
he definitely wants to move back to Africa. It's just what country. We kind of have it narrowed down. I know I'm not saying, but we do have it narrowed down where we would want to go.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think we are planning a trip soon because I think one of my relatives is getting married, which means I get to go back for a wedding.
Oh,
Yay!
good,
And then I'm
good.
gonna get my baby loves on because I know there's some babies coming soon, so I'm gonna get my baby loves on.
It's good to go back for good stuff.
Yes, right. Go back for the food, the dancing, and the babies.
Yep, exactly.
And then go see my security guards because I love them to pieces. And yes, I do talk to them all the time. Have instant contact with them on social media and WhatsApp. but we never say who they are. I just say they're my friends or I met them, or I'll say they're my relatives just for safety reasons, just because of who they are. I don't want people knowing that they're affiliated with me.
Yeah.
We did lose our favorite security guard a couple years ago. He did die in a tragic accident, which
Hmm.
was the most heartbreaking thing ever. I did not like that at all. He was like our favorite. He was our main guy, but unfortunately, they don't have the best medical care there. So when the accident happened, he basically fell off the back of a truck and he hit
Oh,
his head, and he was in the village, and they done, they tried, but they don't have the neurology like we have here where they can get him to the city, and
yeah.
cut his head open and let the pressure out. They don't have that stuff there. So he unfortunately died from blunt force trauma like a couple of days later. But and that was just an accident. It was the saddest thing ever. Loved him to pieces, but
Young?
yeah, he was, I think, 28,
Oh my.
27, 28. He was married. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
It says that if I don't do this, we're gonna shut off, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, there we go. It says we've been on for long. Yeah, no, he was married and had a son, so that's the sad part. But it's an unfortunate part of living in this country. But he got to experience things that he never had experienced before because he was our driver and he was our main guard. Anywhere we wanted to go, he got to go. So he got to go to the Cotton Cold Springs. Um, we took him to go see this really cool water fountain in the state that my husband's from. He had never been there before, so we took him there. So anywhere we went, he literally went with us.
Yeah.
We always fed him. So people always say, "Do you feed them?" Of course we feed him. Like, he's our driver, for goodness sakes. We fed him, gave him drinks, gave him, at the end of the day, we would give him extra cash to take home. He'd pick us up from the airport, take us to the airport, and we always had extra money. We would give it to him because I'm like, just take it. We don't need it. They don't get paid the best. So we always made sure that we took care of them. We always made sure that our guards got a bonus when we left because they were not getting paid extra to take care of us. The hotel didn't offer wasn't going to do that. They're like, oh no, that's their job. We're like, whatever. So
Yeah.
we always made sure that we gave them what they needed,
Nice.
took care of them.
So, we're coming up on an hour,
Hmm.
and this was really enlightening. I'll say that. I mean, what a great story.
It is. Oh, I have clothes, by the way. I'll take pictures of the clothes.
Oh, we didn't
Of
take it.
my of the clothes, and we will show you them. What I can do is probably put them on my kids, and then I just won't show their faces because I don't put my kids on social media. But I will probably have them jump in them, wear them, and then you guys. Some of them they're not going to be able to fit into because they were like 5 and 6 when they were there last, and now they're not 5 and 6 anymore. So I can just take pictures of. I think we may have pictures of them actually. I can just post the pictures and things of that nature. So.
Yep. Maybe when we put this together,
Yep.
we would
We
slide
will,
the
I will make
pictures in.
sure, I will make sure all of those, I'm actually looking at a couple right now. Uh, we'll make sure that we get those inserted in because they're actually pretty cool. They're really cozy and comfortable. Yes, we do wear them when we go there because my boys love to wear them. The traditional clothes because it's like wearing pajamas and it's very cool.
Hmm.
It's very breathable, so they love it. They love to wear them. They love wearing them. Girls, not so much, which is fine. I mean, they get them anyways. They pick out their own pattern and then they make them. So. But yes, but I think we're done.
Yeah, this was
Yeah,
great. I hope you were happy with sharing your story.
I am. I love because everybody always wants to know. Everybody always asks me these questions. And so thank you for everybody who sent questions in because sometimes I don't remember. I don't always remember them. Like today, I was asking my kids, I'm like, okay, guys, give me some more questions quick. They're like, okay, people ask me this, or people ask me this, or people ask me this. And so we have to come with them because people ask us these questions all the time that we just don't remember them because it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, another question. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's great. Obviously, TikTok so far right now is going away. So
Yep.
you can visit us on our other platforms and
Yes.
follow us. And we will definitely be having some really good topics coming up
Hmm.
and hopefully some great guests.
Yes, we're working on that. And the links are in the bio, guys. So if it goes away by Sunday, you need to follow us between now and Saturday. It's East Coast Opinions podcast straight across the board. I think there might be two in one of them because I couldn't get the other one. But again, the links are in the link tree.
Hmm.
Go over and follow those so that you do not lose us because we're going to have a lot of a lot of good things coming up. We have other people from different parts of the country who are also going to be talking about their cultures, what it's like compared, their culture compared to here to the United States. We've actually talked to a few already, and it's really interesting to say the least.
Mhm.
Certain countries we've learned that you can't say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, because I think you're weird. I grew up saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. Like, it's weird for me. Like, they were joking, telling me that I can't say that there. I was like, no, 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 no. I can't do that. That's just, it's not right to me.
And
I,
no
I just,
pajamas
just,
in the
just
no pajamas in the supermarket.
no pajamas in the supermarket either, but we're not going to say what country that is. You have to wait for that one.
Yep.
Anyways, y'all. Yes. I think we're good. I think we've done it all.
Yeah,
So,
I think this is great.
yeah. So again, but if you guys have any questions that you thought of that I didn't answer, put it in the comments below.
Mhm.
And when we make the video for the YouTube, I'll add it in at the very end. And if I don't know it, I'll just ask my husband. He'll answer it for me.
Sounds great.
Perfect. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening. And again, don't forget to follow us so you don't lose us.
Yep. Take
All right.
care. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so here we are at the hot and cold springs. This is the entrance, and then next I'm just going to be showing you where this hot water spring is. This was actually really cool. You can't see it in the picture, but this you can see the steam coming up when you were there in person. And then next coming up is just the hot water coming down the little, I guess you call it the falls. It's just a mini falls. Here's more of the hot water area as it's on its way down to meet where the cold water mixes. Here's my kids playing in the warm water. It's not really hot, it's just like bath water. And here they are at the exact spot where the hot and cold water meet, and it never mixes. Next here are my kids hanging out with some of our security guards who they, to this day, still really love and talk with all the time. Here's our main security guy who recently passed away a few years ago. It was the saddest thing ever. Here we are back at our hotel. The kids are playing with the guards because they loved hanging out with them. Here they are with two of their 46 cousins having dinner. And then here is my younger son. We were gifted this outfit. Both of my boys have this one to this day. My boys have several of these outfits. They love wearing them when they go there. So comfortable and breathable. Here we are just driving around. I can't remember where we were headed. Here is market day. And as you can see, my younger son is exhausted from a long day of just traveling and doing whatever. This is just some of the buildings that you see. A lot of these are just like little shops that people have. They sell things. You can walk in and buy things. This person here, I can't remember. I think he was on his way to Lagos. And the next here is their water. We had a massive storm that day, so it's just ripping and roaring. Normally it's not that high. Here is the Ife Palace, which is a really, really cool place to go and visit if you're ever in the area. Here we were on our way to a zoo, and that was the entrance to the zoo. Here we're at my brother-in-law's fish farm. The green algae is really to protect the fish that are in there so the birds of the sky don't attack them. And these are the baby chickens that he has. And then here is the one and only traffic jam.